According to the testimony of Patsy Ramsey, on December 26, 1996, she discovered her daughter was missing after finding on the kitchen staircase a 2.5-page ransom letter demanding $118,000 for her safe return, almost the exact value of a bonus her husband had received earlier that year. Despite specific instructions in the ransom note that police and friends should not be contacted, she telephoned the police and called family and friends. The two officers who arrived at the Ramsey home conducted a cursory search of the house, but did not find any obvious signs of a break-in or forced entry. The note suggested that the ransom collection would be monitored and Jonbenet would be returned as soon as the money was obtained. John Ramsey made arrangements for the availability of the ransom, which a friend, John Finney, picked up that morning from a local bank. In the afternoon of the same day, Boulder Police Detective Linda Arndt asked Fleet White, a friend of the Ramseys, to take John Ramsey and search the house for anything unusual. John Ramsey and two of his friends started their search in the basement. After first searching the bathroom and train room, the three of them went to a wine cellar room where Ramsey found his daughter's body covered in her special white blanket. She was also found with a nylon cord around her neck, her wrists tied above her head, and duct tape covering her mouth. The police were later claimed by observers to have made several critical mistakes in the investigation, such as not sealing off the crime scene and allowing friends and family in and out of the house once a kidnapping was reported. Critics of the investigation have since claimed that officers also did not sufficiently attempt to gather forensic evidence before or after Jonbenet's body was found, possibly because they immediately suspected the Ramseys in the killing. Some officers holding these suspicions reported them to local media, who began reporting on January 1 that the assistant district attorney thought, "It's not adding up." The fact that the body of the girl was found in her own home was considered highly suspicious by the investigating officers. The results of the autopsy revealed that Jonbenet was killed by strangulation and a skull fracture. A garrote made from a length of tweed cord and the broken handle of a paintbrush had been used to strangle her. Her skull had suffered severe blunt trauma. There was no evidence of conventional rape, although sexual assault could not be ruled out. The official cause of death was asphyxiation due to strangulation associated with craniocerebral trauma. The bristle end of the paintbrush was found in a tub of Patsy Ramsey's art supplies, but the bottom third was never located despite extensive searching of the house by law enforcement in subsequent days. Experts noted that the construction of the garrote required a special knowledge of knots. Autopsy also revealed that Jonbenet had eaten pineapple only a few hours before the murder. Photographs of the home, taken the day Jonbenet's body was found, show a bowl of pineapple on the kitchen table with a spoon in it, and police reported finding Jonbenet's 9-year-old brother Burke Ramsey's fingerprints on it. However, both Patsy and John Ramsey claim not to remember putting this bowl on the table or feeding pineapple to Jonbenet. The Ramseys had always maintained that Burke had slept through the entire episode until awakened several hours after the police arrived. In December 2003, forensic investigators extracted enough material from a mixed blood sample found on Jonbenet's underwear to establish a DNA profile. The DNA belongs to an unknown male. The DNA was submitted to the FBI Combined DNA Index System, CODIS, a database containing more than 1.6 million DNA profiles, mainly from convicted felons. The sample failed to find a match in the database. Later investigations also discovered that there were more than 100 burglaries in the Ramseys neighborhood in the months before Jonbenet's murder, and that 38 registered sex offenders were living within a 2-mile radius of the Ramseys' home, an area that encompasses half the population of the city of Boulder, but that none of the sex offenders had any involvement in the murder. In August 2006, a 41-year-old elementary school teacher, John Mark Carr, falsely confessed to Ramsey's murder while being held on child pornography charges from Sonoma County, California. Authorities reportedly tracked Carr down using the internet after emails were sent regarding the case to Michael Tracy, a journalism professor at the University of Colorado. Carr was apprehended in Bangkok, Thailand on August 15 and confessed to killing Jonbenet. Carr claimed that he drugged Ramsey and sexually assaulted her, but claimed her death was an accident. Investigators and legal authorities were immediately suspicious of Carr's confession as he only provided basic facts that were publicly known and failed to provide any real detail about the killing. His claim of drugging Ramsey was also called into question as no drugs were found in her body during autopsy. DNA samples taken from Carr also did not match DNA found on Ramsey's body. Later that month, prosecutors announced that no charges would be filed against Carr for the murder. According to CNN, authorities also said they did not find any evidence linking Carr to the crime scene. The press coverage of the false confession later was described as a media frenzy. Carr was subsequently released from all charges related to child pornography as well. In October 2010, the case was reopened. New interviews were conducted following a fresh inquiry by a committee which included state and federal investigators. Police were expected to use the latest DNA technology in their investigation. It was announced on January 27, 2013, that a grand jury found sufficient evidence to indict the parents in 1999 on charges of child abuse resulting in death, but the district attorney refused to sign the indictment, leaving the impression that the grand jury investigation was inconclusive.